A short video on electric cars. About 4 years ago, I was driving out the road and there was a lady in a small car, like a Nissan Micra, a petrol car, or maybe a Toyota Yaris, and there had been a tractor and trailer in front, away off in front. And I saw it come by when I was getting fuel, and it had a whole heap of old scrap iron on it. And among the things that had on it was a piece of an old tar barrel. You know, if this was a tar barrel, you know the standard barrel, oil barrel. Well, it was cut off at about a third at the first ring, and it was used by a farmer. It could be for feeding cattle, it could be used for anything, or a water trough. And it had got run over, and it was all damaged, and there was a few pointy bits sticking up. You know the way nothing crushes completely. There was an old sticky sticking up, and I saw it on the road. And what did she do? Only drove, and she was going slow. She drove straight across it, and of course it got stuck underneath, and then she stopped. And I pulled up alongside. It wasn't a busy road. I shouted at the window, "You have an iron underneath your car. You need a reverse." I got out. We got her reversed out. No harm was done. There was a sump guard on the car, and I got that and disposed of it. Now the point is, I was at my farm last year, and we had the silage done on the top fields, and I have a van, and it's fairly high. It's not too bad. I'm used to going up and down there with the van, but didn't the tractor that did the baling dislodged a stone and left it sticking up, and there was silage on top of it, and I couldn't see it coming out this gap. And when I came out the gap up on a hill, didn't the stone catch the sump? Because the sump guard was off. I was just in the process of changing the oil and checking the filter for the gearbox for oil, and this chap arrived, and we drove around, and when I came down, I ripped the sump out of it, and there was a big stream of oil right down the field. Big stream of black oil down the field, and I had to go and get that repaired. The point I'm making is, in an electric car, you have the battery between the front and back wheels, and you have it in some type of aluminium or a metal casing. It can't be very strong metal. It can only be a little better than a tin can, because if it's heavy metal, it leaves the car too heavy. And the batteries are all aligned here flat, and there's 7,000 in a small electric car. 7,000 little battery cells, a bit smaller than this, you know, little small, standard, like a battery cell. I presume maybe something like this or that. You know what I'm talking about. I can't see it. There's a cork there. So you have these about twice that length. Anyway, there's 7,000 in a small car. If this gets ripped, the battery's compromised. If water gets in, it's finished. It's a danger. So if those two incidents had happened with an electric car, and they got touched and damaged, those would have to be written off. You couldn't fix them because the industry, the insurance companies admit there's no way of knowing that a battery has been compromised. You cannot put a meter on it and check if there's a compromise somewhere. If only one cell gets nicked over time and the water gets in, it's a fire hazard. So insurance companies have to write them off. Now, it's been said underneath on my videos that they'll put the charge of the extra cost of insurance on the rest of the motoring using internal combustion engines, but these insurances are written off by people like Lloyd's. They're underwritten, sorry, not written off, they're underwritten by Lloyd's, I presume maybe Zurich and all that. There's a few big companies who do all the underwriting, and you can become a name at Lloyd's. And I knew a man who was a name at Lloyd's, and the Piper Alpha thing blew up, oil rig, and he had to sell all his cattle and all his sheep. They left him just with the bare essentials. His tractor and all had to go. They took everything except the dog, essentially, a big auction, because he guaranteed and was a name at Lloyd's. So there's no joke being in Lloyd's. Lloyd's are hardly going to allow any Irish Green government scheme to make them on the hook for electric cars. I don't see this working. It's different with the like of Quinn Insurance going down and they put a levy on other policies. I don't see this working for electric cars. And anyway, you could get insurance companies that might refuse to insure electric cars. Now, don't forget, with the wind energy, the electricity suppliers like SSE, like Bord Gáis, they love to take on this. They won't fight taking in the wind energy. They may have to do it anyway, I don't know, but the point is, I don't see how they can force people to insurance companies to insure electric cars. Now, just think of that one thing. The other thing is, you go out to any of the place which disposes of ordinary cars, they crush them, they take all the things out of them, they crush them up, engine out, and they put them into a yoke that mixes them up into metal, and away they go somewhere down over abroad, probably China, to melt it down back into steel. You can't do that with an electric car. You cannot crush the battery. It would go on fire straight away. So how are they going to dispose of the lithium ion batteries? Okay, Tesla brought down its prices 7% in September. If you bought a Tesla car in August, it's now 77% undervalued. In other words, a new one now would be 70 for 7% of the cost of an old one. There's reports now that Ford are stopping making them. They're not selling. What's happening is that motor companies are flooding the garages with electric cars, but they can't get them off the forecourt. They're lying around too long, and people are slowly but surely hopping on. It doesn't mean that there won't be idiots that will buy electric cars, or maybe a family that has 5 or 6 cars will buy one little electric for just a novelty. That may go on for quite a while, but the insurance will be one big thing. It's Motorman in the motor trade told me 5,000 to get them insured in England. It won't be long till that comes here, and that'll kill them off. We'll see what happens there. Somebody posted that the car in Newbridge is a diesel Mercedes. It went on fire on the 15th of August. I said it was a hybrid. I got inquiries made through the motor trade, and I got the response back that this is a C. I'm not too well up on them, 300, and that it was a hybrid. But somebody posted here it was before that, and it's not a hybrid. The situation there is inquiries are continuing. We'll try and find out. But isn't it amazing? Nobody can come up with a number of the car. So there you are, we're working on that. All told, we're beginning to win, and I hope that innocent people, genuine people, don't get caught out, and I hope that those who are pushing this, and the rich and famous, are skinned and left eating out of dustbins. That's what I hope for them. So this is the most environmentally destructive thing. It takes a massive amount, and I'll post it here under, of soil has to be pulled out of the ground over in the Congo. Whole hills to make one car, whole big sections of ground, and then there's only a tiny piece of lithium ion and cobalt there. And the European countries that do it, companies, are not too bad on children. The Chinese company, it's slave labor, child slavery, and that's the way it is. And that's why they're able to compete well on electric cars using child labor and abuse of children in Africa. These things are not green. We can only tell it as it is. But actually, there's some people in Ireland who have no conscience. They don't care. They're virtue signaling, and that's it. Give me a thumbs up and a thumbs down. The point is, I made another video. Watch underneath what I post, and it's time now that those who are considering buying electric or hybrid listen not only to what I say, but what other people say. I know a man's daughter who bought a Toyota RAV hybrid. Never again, never. I know a woman bought a Tesla. Never again. Won't do what it's supposed to say. I know another family bought a Nissan Leaf as a backup car for a company. Never again. But there may be others. There's another man there says he had 2 of them in America, I think, and he's absolutely delighted. And there's one other thing. Toyota has warned motorists in Australia that the electric car is not for all but a minor amount. It's warned people that it will not do the purpose you want in a big area like Australia, except in very big cities and in very minor areas. Toyota has warned on that. I was out in South Dakota, North Dakota, Montana, and Wyoming, and the distance between houses is 12 miles. It's 12 miles. Here in Ireland, it's only about 200 to 300 yards, or maybe a little more, a little less than meters. So that's the situation. That's what Toyota has said. Watch out for Ford, watch out for General Motors, watch out for the whole damn thing. It's coming crashing down around our ears, and the sooner the better. Bye, we'll see you. Comment underneath, we'll see you back, and give me a thumbs up and thumbs down, and sure, subscribe if you wish. I'd like if you would. Thank you.